unwrapped the flower. Day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers toward the light is striving. Gone the iron touch of old, winter time and frost time, seedlings working through the mold now make up for lost time. Herb and plant that winter long slumbered at their leisure now be stirring green and strong, find in growth their pleasure. All the world with beauty feels, gold the green enhancing. Flowers make glee among the hills, set the meadow dancing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So it is a good morning, even though there were 2 accidents on the freeway on the way here. Unfortunately, one of them was accompanied by an ambulance. So we might want to privately send up a little prayer for whoever that person was and their family. So welcome to the live in-person and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Our opening hymn this morning is number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here in person, and thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. The members of the worship committee who put this service together are Tinka Friend and Ren Mansour. Other members of the worship committee who make this service possible include Alec Peck, our music coordinator, Adam Wedekeen, who monitors our visual and online connections, and Kate Lewicki, who is in charge of our sound system. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. Spring is a new season, a new beginning, a season of hope filled with the sun's warmth, the budding trees, and the renewal and reawakening of life after winter. Welcome, old friends and new, young and old. You are an essential part of today's celebration of shared community. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, many qualities, and many strengths. We are all growing, all learning, all loved just as we are, and we are all welcome here. Today, we celebrate Beltane and the annual flower ceremony originated by Unitarian minister Norbert Chapek in 1923, symbolizing the light and color and fragrance of many creeds, many cultures, and many races joining together in a bright, living bouquet. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements we would like to share. We will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all this information, and it is available on our website. The monthly UUCR newsletter comes out the first of every other month by email and, per request, by postal mail. If you have something newsworthy or would like to contribute, email uuchurchofriverside.calendar@gmail.com or call the church office at 951-686-6515. If you would like to be added to our mailing list, please contact the church office. Our first Sunday luncheon will be served today after this service. Today's theme is Mexican dishes. Vegetarian and gluten-free options will be available. Contributions are appreciated and will be donated to the church fund. The monthly peace talks are informative and supportive decisions about current events that relate to UU values. It will be held today from 12:30 p.m. in the parish hall following the luncheon. All are invited to attend and participate in the Q&A session. Next Sunday, May 11th, to celebrate Mother's Day, please bring mementos to put on the altar or stories to share of our maternal role models. Church Council will meet on the second Friday of the month in the Annex. The next meeting will be at 5:30 p.m. on May 9th. Our Summer Family Barbecue fundraiser is on Saturday, May 17 at 1:30 p.m. Bring the whole family, invite your friends. Tickets are $25. Children 6 to 12 are $12. Children 5 and under eat for free. It will be on the lawn between the church building and the annex. Vegetarian options are provided. Please purchase your tickets in advance so we will know how much food to prepare. The next Women's Federation meeting will be Saturday, May 10, next weekend, at 1 p.m. in the parish hall. Game night is held on the second and fourth Thursdays at 6 p.m. in the parish hall. There are many games to choose from, and you can bring your favorites from home. The next game night will be on Thursday, May 8th. Come join in the fun. And for our next announcement, we have the Chair of the Social and Environmental Justice Committee, Adam Wedekind.
And I just want to make sure it didn't get changed in there. Because we have so many things right after church, the luncheon and then our panel, there will not be a Q&A session this morning.
Morning.
On Tuesday, May 6th at 6 p.m., our Social and Environmental Justice Committee is partnering with UCR Grads for Palestine to host a powerful evening of learning and solidarity as we welcome a local stop on the Stop Cop City Imaginary Crimes Tour. This national tour shares the stories of activists who are facing RICO, which is organized crime charges, for their efforts to stop the construction of Cop City, which is a proposed $90 million police training facility in Atlanta that threatens local ecosystems. It'll tear down a forest that's sacred to the Muskogee people, and it represents a massive investment in policing over community well-being. The event will also feature a broader conversation with organizers working on a range of campaigns about the alarming national trend towards criminalizing protest and dissent. We encourage you to attend, stand in solidarity, and read the UUA's 2023 Action of Immediate Witness titled Stop Cop City, which calls on us as UUs to resist the expanding reach of militarism and state repression. On Saturday, May 10th from noon to 9 p.m., we invite you to join us at Riverside's Inland Empire Pride Festival at White Park in downtown Riverside. Our congregation will be hosting a table at this vibrant, volunteer-powered event celebrating the LGBTQ+ community. The festival features over 120 vendors, live music, drag performances, a youth zone, workshops, and more. Stop by our table to connect, share resources, and learn how you can support. Admission is free, and all are welcome. The ladies can head over after Women's Federation. And on Friday, May 16th at 6 p.m., the Riverside Sheriff Accountability Coalition invites the community to a Mother's Day rally and vigil at the Benjamin Franklin stage on 9th and Main Streets to honor the lives who have been lost at the hands of the Riverside Sheriff's Department and uplift the mothers who continue to fight for justice and answers. This moving event is a call to action and remembrance, grounded in love, grief, and the demand for meaningful oversight and accountability. For all three of these events, there is more information on our social justice website, uuchurchriverside.org/justice. There's more info, there's RSVPs, and there's more ways to get involved. Specifically with that Mother's Day vigil, there's more than just a vigil, and of course, we say in our church that service is our prayer. So the way we pray is by getting active. And there's a link there to the Riverside Sheriff Accountability Coalition's action page. It talks about things you can do, emails you can write, calls you can make to support sheriff's accountability. And also, while you're there, I said this a couple weeks ago, uuchurchriverside.org/justice. Check out the link to the Responding to the Anti-Trans Movement course. I talked about it a couple weeks ago when I had just done the one lesson, but now that I finished it, I think it's really important that we all take that course. Specifically, the first lesson is just sort of a 101 on trans issues for those who are unfamiliar, but this lesson 2 really gets into deep about what the anti-trans movement is saying, where the lies are, and how to really understand what's going on. There's there's 3 half-hour lessons, and each lesson comes with a whole bunch of really good research materials to look into, especially on that second lesson. I would really recommend folks spend some time with that information and learn about what's being said and what is actually going on. It's a huge, very different thing. So again, check out uuchurchriverside.org/justice for more information on all these events. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Greeting our guests. Our time together is brief, but it is filled with joy. In that spirit, I invite you to turn to those around you, greet them, welcome them, and share that joy. For those on Zoom, you can use the Zoom wave gesture or just wave at your camera. Welcome to all of our visitors today, and welcome back to our old friends. We would love to meet you during coffee hour in the parish hall after the service, where you will also find our visitors book. Please leave your name before you leave so that we know you were here, and leave your contact information if you want updates on church events. For those of you online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org.
I just want to piggyback a little bit on what Adam said. In our covenant with this church, we do covenant that service is our prayer, and that we put our values to practice. We practice our values. We don't just think about them and say, that sounds very nice. During this service, that's going to be emphasized again. But I just want us to remember that. If everybody just sort of sits back and lets things flow around them and happen, I doubt that our principles and our values will ever be achieved. So, and those of you who have come to this church because you know that we put our practice and values in service, there are many, many things, as you heard this morning, that you can get involved with and that you can make a difference. So now we invite you to sit back, take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You are welcome to read with me our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to live in service to humankind and all life in fellowship. Thus do we covenant. So if you've been here before, you kind of know how our service has a certain format that we follow. Well, today's service doesn't follow that usual structure or format. Today's service is basically divided into 3 parts. We will have our monthly joys and concerns, which we do on the first Sunday of every month. So joys and sorrows, where we give voice to the things in our lives which bring us great happiness, and also that which brings a depth of darkness to our spirit. 2 is May Day, which we just had. May 1st, or May Day, was Beltane, a Celtic celebration which says goodbye to darkness and winter, and hello to light and spring. We'll learn a little about this day and how our pagan brothers and sisters honor it. Flowers are an important symbol of spring, which brings us to the 3rd part of our service, the flower ceremony or flower communion. How many of you brought a flower this morning to put into our flower? Okay, if you haven't already added it over here on our altar, please go ahead and do so. And for those of you who didn't, don't worry, I think you can see we have more than enough flowers for you. The flower ceremony or flower communion, which is an annual Unitarian ritual that celebrates beauty, human uniqueness, diversity, and community. And in this ceremony, everyone brings a flower to place either on the altar or in a shared vase. The congregation blesses the flowers, and then in giving back, we have brought something and then we take something. So each person will take a flower, and you will take a different one. Don't take the same one you brought. Take a different one, and that represents the gifts that we bring to our community and the gifts that we receive from our community. Our spirit is like a garden, filled with the plants and flowers that make us who we are. We don't always get to choose what seeds make their way into our soul and also into the soil that is our soul. But we can choose what we nurture and what we let go of. We can choose to nurture our beauty together, which is what we're going to do today.
We have two lightings of sacred flames. The first is a remembrance candle for the indigenous peoples who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that underneath us is the unceded land of several indigenous peoples, including the Cahuilla, the Luiseño, and the Cupeño. We light this sacred flame in their remembrance and in recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. Our second sacred flame is our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's chalice lighting words are Fire and Seeds by Tinka Friend. Winter needs fire. Fire keeps the darkness at bay. Fire provides warmth in the coldness of night.
Spring needs seeds. Seeds are necessary for the continuity of growing things, edible plants and beautiful flowers. Flowers feed our soul and our spirit.
Fire and seeds go together. They feed each other. Fire enriches the soil, so seeds grow faster.
Seeds grow into the fuel, which feeds the fire.
May we honor both fire and seeds.
So this is part one, our first part. It is said that a shared joy is a doubled joy, and shared sorrow is a half sorrow. On the first Sunday of each month, we share the joys and concerns that we have received from you and which you have collected throughout the month. Which you have put into our book or sent to our office. First, I'm going to read the joys and concerns which were given to us. Are there any? Oh, it's already written in there. Is there anything in here that's... So the joys that we have already are joys for graduations, dark chocolates, spring showers, and acts of kindness. Is there any new in there?
No, this was from more. Yeah.
That's, yeah, since the, it's too small for me to read, sorry. Sorry, I have old eyes. And there's not a lot of light.
From Maggie Williams, my deep sorrow over the loss of Kay Murray. Maori. I guess I see that. Who passed away, as this was written 1 week ago, April 6th. She will be greatly missed, but also joy and gratitude that I was fortunate enough to know such a kind, welcoming, and generous-hearted person.
Amen. And then the concern was in addition to that, sorrow, was the passing of a friend with whom I had a challenging friendship. I think that can sometimes be harder than the people that you love when you have difficult and the person's no longer there for you to make amends or resolve things. So if there's anyone here in the sanctuary or online who would like to speak their joy or concern, please raise your hand and we will invite you to speak either here in the microphone or online when we call on you.
I have a joy I'd like to share. I would like to share the joy that last night I met up with some friends to celebrate my friend Marcel's birthday, and we had a lovely time. Happy birthday, Marcel.
Okay, is there anyone here? Come on up to the microphone. Make sure, or please say your name first.
Bill Casey. Basically, this is some concern, some joy, because life does not always tune in cleanly to the spot you want. It's, of all people, me speaking for structures, fine. All I can say is that during these challenging times, politically and so on, there are structures that we make in order to make our way in this world. You have the structure of a flower, of a goodbye, of a goodbye or a hello. I am suggesting that we hold on to the structures. We're going to see, we have already seen some laws and structures in government basically beaten down. Now, with the Saturn V rocket, they say that we literally could not make some of those parts anymore because we've moved on. I think that one of the things we're going to need to do as for the next few years is remember the ugly little bureaucratic details that help us make a law that helps us be good to each other. Let us not forget how to make those darn things. Let us not forget what lift and pressure a good vote or a good bit of bureaucracy has towards keeping the world a kinder and gentler place. Concern and fear by the bucket, but we seem to be a pretty skillful bunch. Let's get to it.
Thank you, Bill. I think many of us share that same concern, the fear that the societal structures and the covenant between the government and its people are being dismantled.
Yeah, let's not forget how.
Okay, anyone else?
My name is Tim, and I would just like to say, if there's anybody who has a child or a kid who's getting mixed up in booze and drugs, or anybody else that you know, young man who's getting mixed up in booze and drugs, I would recommend you join the Army National Guard or the Air National Guard, because it'll give you a sense of belonging, pride, and unity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill, or Tim, for your concern, especially for young people who may be turning to drugs or alcohol.
Walt Russell, I want to mention that you want to pay strict attention. PBS and NPR are about to be destroyed, so you'll want to contact your Congress people, and the NewsHour and some of the other the programming shows are including discussions involving how they're about to be slaughtered. You'll want to pay attention to that. As for yesterday, there was a very good demonstration over many of Trump's lunacies yesterday, and rumor has it there's another one coming on the 13th. but I don't know the full nature of that, so you'll want to check other sources. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt. I think many of us are concerned about that.
Hello, my name is Lauren. Grief, of course, is ongoing for my brother, but I had a lovely piece of joy yesterday. I got a mailing from my great niece. So for the first time, I saw a picture of my great niece. I've never met her, except on the telephone. Mm-hmm. And the service has been set for August the 14th, the day before the Steam and Gas show opens, because that was my brother's passion, and he will be buried there. Mm-hmm. That is, his ashes will be buried there. So I am planning a trip to Wisconsin the end of the summer.
Thank you. Yeah, so sorrow for the passing of her brother, but joy in getting to finally, hopefully, meet his niece.
Hi, morning, I'm Alec. I have a few joys that I wanted to share with you. For one, a few weeks ago, I got to see my cousins that I only get to see every few years for Passover. I got to spend some time with them, and it's great to see them again. And I also, just yesterday and the day before, we went and saw some of Margaret's extended family. And so it was also really nice to get to see just parts of the family that we don't usually get to see. Mm-hmm. And I also wanted to share one other joy, which is that despite all the political goings-ons, I had a fairly successful trip to Washington, D.C. with my advisor on behalf of the high energy physics community, and so we're still hoping for the best.
Thank you. Another happiness on being able to connect or reconnect with family. Anyone else? Oh, who on? Jonathan. Jonathan online. Share your joy or sorrow with us, please.
Yeah, this past 2 months, just want to say I deeply missed all of you. It has been a very, very difficult time for me. A lot of sorrows, a lot of concerns, and grieving. I know all of you have been with me in my heart, and I know I've been in your hearts, and I'm thankful for that. I'm glad my joy is that I know I'm moving along another step in my journey. I never know quite where it leads, but I'm thankful to have Jesus as my higher power and the wonderful community like you guys with me. So thank you.
Jonathan, you know that we have missed you and that you have been in our hearts.
My name is Nick, and I'm a Universalist Unitarian. I feel good to be here. I want to say that I have a great sense of good feeling towards all those people out there who show up on their government job day in and day out with very little thanks. The DMV and the Social Security, the IRS, these people are the backbone of what runs our government. And I just want to say that I'm grateful to them for showing up every day like they do, in the vast numbers of them that they're here to serve us, and they do it, I think, very well. I've had my back surgery, and all the pain is gone in my legs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, hallelujah. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesus. Well, that's going too far, sorry. Going too far. I'm up and I'm walking. I walk every day, and I'm just waiting to see my neurosurgeon so I can go into physical therapy. But all the support and love that I have gotten from this community has been felt, and I thank you for all of that.
Thank you, Nick. My joy, along with my husband, is the results of his the neurosurgery on his spine, April 11th, is that the pain no longer exists. The nerves in his back were being crushed between the bones, and that was causing a great deal of pain. The anxiety, I guess you would say, is that we don't know the extent to which he will recover, because the nerve was compressed and squashed for a couple of years since his fall, before it was able to be rectified, and they don't know how much permanent damage was done to the nerves. So we'll have to see how resilient the nerves are, how much they heal, how much they repair, as to whether or not he will be able to walk unassisted with canes or walkers. So we just have to pray and have hope and try to keep a positive attitude. And even if even if it doesn't, the fact that excuse me, the fact that he doesn't have the pain radiating down both legs is a great relief. I also, in my heart, I still ache for Kay Mowry. She came after I came, but they had been members of the church for about 20 years and so involved, and such a beautiful, lovely woman. Just the most overflowing love in her heart for everybody that she met, and she showed it. And she's a wonderful example for how I want to live my life. And then also for a couple weeks ago, we went over to see Glenn Granfield, who is an elder member of the church. It was his 91st birthday, and he is unable to attend churches, the church services, because not only is he housebound, he is bedbound. And so I go over to see him whenever I can. And when our ritual for our flower communion is over, whatever flowers are left over, I'm going to be taking them over to his house after the luncheon and everything, to get to see him. Okay, anyone else online? And anyone that has a joy or a sorrow that you would like to share with this community? Okay. May we remember those. We need to place a stone in our water chalice to represent the joys and concerns that we have shared with our church community, and also in recognition of those that we hold close but have not shared. So I know there are things inside our hearts that maybe we are not ready to be spoken aloud.
The mix, which we're all in, which we all rise from, which we all go back to.
May we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts. Our next hymn is number 123, Spirit of Life, from the Gray Hymnal. It also will be projected. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn 123, Spirit of Life.
This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is shown here, as well as on the church website and in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Dinah Rowe or Robert Brown in the church office if you are interested in purchasing the gift cards. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. This is a season of abundance. If you have brought food and hygiene items for those in our local community, please put them in the tote bag being passed around. Thank you for your generosity. To those who give of their time and talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. To all of you who have joined us here today, thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection?
Our next hymn is number 402, From You I Receive, which is also from our gray hymnal, but will be projected. Please feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn 402, From You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Be seated.
Beltane is a seasonal celebration, also known as May Day, that celebrates the boisterous energy at the height of spring. Beltane is a cross-quarter holiday on the Celtic wheel of the year. It occurs at the midpoint between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. Beltane was originally celebrated by the Celts of Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man. It marked the time of year when they would put their livestock out to pasture. Part of the seasonal celebrations was a cleansing and protection ritual incorporating smoke and fire. They would pass their livestock between two fires to keep illness away. Classically, Beltane is observed on May 1st with a maypole, an abundance of flowers, and a bonfire. In the Wiccan tradition, it celebrates the sexual union of the goddess and the god, an allegory of the Mother Earth impregnated by the seed of the green man. Seeds are often planted during Beltane to honor the life-giving power of the earth. The maypole is a phallic symbol of the masculine energy, which is then joyfully embraced by colorful ribbons, symbolic of the beautiful abundance and diversity of our living world. Our next hymn is Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you, and stand in body or spirit and join us in singing Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers. The words will be projected on the screen.
Spring has now unwrapped the flowers, day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers, towards the light is striving. God the eye and touch of cold, winter time and frost time, seedlings working through the mold, now make up for lost time. All the world with beauty fills, gold the green enhancing, flowers make merry on the hills, set the meadows dancing, earth puts on her dress of glee, flowers and grasses hide her, going forth in charity, one and all beside her.
And now for our flower communion. So for me personally, I find this ritual to be the most beautiful, touching, and meaningful of all the rituals that I have experienced at a UU church, both for what it symbolizes and also for the history of its creation. I spent a lot of time last year when I led this service for the flower communion. I spent a lot of time last year focusing on Norbert Chapek and his creation of the flower communion, because it was the 100th anniversary of the start of that ritual in the Unitarian churches. And all the churches on that day throughout North America and in Europe were celebrating the 100th anniversary of the flower communion. Different places, depending on where the climate of where you live, you may have the flower celebration in the spring, you may have it in the summer. It just kind of depends on when the flowers are blooming. But on that day, everybody did it on that day to celebrate the 100th anniversary. But for some people who are here today, in fact, I see many of you that were not here last year, this will be your first time to experience this ritual. So I will explain its origin and its purpose. So who was Norbert Chapek? He was a Czechoslovakian. His mother was a devout Catholic. His father was an agnostic. He became an acolyte at age 10 in 1890 at St. Martin's Catholic Church. So he followed his mother's path religiously and was in the Catholic Church. In the years that followed, however, he became disillusioned with that faith and then began questioning his faith and what it would mean, what it really means to be a Christian. At 18, he apprenticed to his uncle, who was a successful tailor in Vienna. Norbert discovered the Baptists, and that gave him a little more freedom and a little bit, he felt so constrained and confined with Catholicism. So when he discovered Baptists, he went in that direction. He felt a calling towards ministry, and he became a Baptist minister. And he founded almost a dozen churches, Baptist churches, from Ukraine to Budapest. Yet, slowly, again, because his faith became more and more liberal, he now struggled with the constraints of the Baptist religion. And he struggled with the religious Christian constraints. During World War I, he left Bohemia under government threat and accepted a call to serve a Baptist church in New York City. And he was okay, and even though he was still kind of struggling, but then one day in 1919, he wrote in his diary, quote, "I cannot be a Baptist anymore, not even in compromise. The fire of new desires, new worlds, is burning inside of me." Norbert, he came over, he didn't come just by himself, he had a wife and children. So Norbert and his wife, Maya Chapek, joined a Unitarian church in New Jersey in 1921. And it really was for the same reason that a lot of other couples come to our faith, to our religion. Their children liked our religious education program. So after attending for a while, he contacted the American Unitarian Association, and working with them, he became ordained as a Unitarian minister. Those of you who are new, you notice I'm not saying UU or Unitarian Universalist, because the merger of the Universalist liberal Christian faith and the Unitarians did not merge together to form one association until 1961. So this was in 1921, so they were still two separate religions. Now that so in 1921, right? the World War I had ended, and his home country was now independent. And so he and Maya returned back home to Czechoslovakia. His Unitarian faith was finally a faith that energized his spiritual life. It gave him room for his spirit to expand and grow. With financial assistance from the American Unitarian Association, he started a Unitarian church in Prague. His Unitarian church is called the Prague Liberal Religious Fellowship. And in just 20 years, so there was nothing, right? And in 20 years, he grew this church to 3,200 members. The traditional Christian communion of bread and wine wouldn't meet the needs of his congregation because his church, like ours, had people who believed different things. So Čapek turned to the beauty of the countryside, the beauty of flowers. In 1923, and at that time, flowers bloomed in June, so the first one actually happened in June. He developed the flower ceremony. He asked his congregants to bring a flower to church. Any flower. It could be from their garden. It could be growing in a field or on the roadside on the way to church. It could be something that other people regarded as a weed. He invited each person then to place their flower in a vase. What a beautiful bouquet. He then had the children of the church bring the bouquet up and put it at the altar. He compared the diversity of the flowers with the diversity of the church community. Unique, but unified. Following the service, each person would take a flower from the vase, but it had to be a different one, different from the one they brought. Čapek was a visionary minister with the church ahead of its time, a bold church, a church thinking beyond its doors, beyond what it thought possible. It was a church that was willing to take risks, to make tough decisions, to bear disappointment, and to build a new way. First, by building a church. That church would build up the community and then out to the world, taking the message of love, diversity, embracing. And for this, the Gestapo arrested him in 1942. Nazis stood at the back of his church, listening to him preach about the beauty, the worth, the dignity of all people. Well, they determined that he was dangerous to their goal and had to be stopped. The Nazis accused Čapek of listening to a foreign broadcast, which was, they came in, changed the laws, made it more restrictive, and now listening to radios were outlawed. Actually, he didn't. It was his daughter. And they sent him to the Dachau concentration camp. The Dachau concentration camp is just outside Munich, Germany. Even in starvation and torture, he held a flower ceremony with his fellow prisoners, finding whatever flowers they could among the weeds of the camp. They testified to a beauty larger than themselves and a love that would outlive all of them. Čapek was also a prolific musical composer. He wrote hundreds and hundreds of songs, mostly hymns. He continued composing songs to uplift the spirit while in Dachau. Sadly, most of his songs were gathered up and destroyed by the Nazis. We do have 3 songs and 2 readings of his in our hymnal. And I have used one of the songs today, which will be our closing song, and I have a reading which will be our benediction from him in this book. The Nazis killed Norbert Čapek. They destroyed his body, but his spirit, his courage, and his commitment live on today. They live on through us, what we believe in, what we bear service to, what we work for. And those qualities have passed now to us to make them real. His wife Maya brought the flower communion to the Unitarian Church in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1940. She was actually out coming back to the States, connecting with the Unitarian Association when things happened and she was told not to come back. And so she was not there when her daughter and her husband were taken to the concentration camp, arrested. What we are about to do is not a historical reenactment of something over and done, but an affirmation of our continuity with the generations of struggle for ever-widening liberty and the embracing of diversity. This flower communion, lovely though it is not a diversion from ugly reality, such as what we are currently faced with in the dismantling of our liberties by our government, or what we see occurring every single day with the conflict with Israel and the Palestinians, and in other places as well. But instead, it is a gentle fierceness which proclaims that in the midst of sinister days, there was always the light of beauty. And so today, we celebrate this ritual of solemnity and joy. As Čapek asked his people to bring a flower and celebrate beauty, so shall we. So I know we had some people who came in after I made the announcement at the beginning. If there's anybody that brought a flower to be added to our common garden up here, please come forth now and put it on the altar. Go ahead and come on up. Okay. Thanks. Okay, anybody else? And as I said before, don't worry if you did not bring a flower to add here. We have more than enough. And just think of the flower in your heart. Okay, and I have a Reverend Peter Samoyski, who is a minister at the Prague Unitarian congregation that Čapek founded. It is still ongoing. It's still going in the Czech Republic. And this is Petra's English translation of Reverend Čapek's blessing. Okay, so this is the blessing that he said over the flowers. In the name of what is holy, in the name of what is good, in the name of that which gives life, we have gathered here in this place today. We have been given life to live under the aspects of eternity, for that is the source of happiness, to work on ourselves and bring happiness into our lives, to be as valid as possible to others with whom we are connected by invisible relationships. You, the flowers, remind us of the wonderful simplicity of the natural order and that we too are a part of it. You remind us of the beauty and the harmony of diversity. You remind us that one can feel and perceive and live unity in diversity and diversity in unity. Let the spirit of creative life unite us as it reigns among us. So now, if you will form a line, and let me ask first, if there are people who have difficulty walking or standing, can we please let them line up first and be first in the line? And then and then others will line up behind them. We will form a big line. I know it'll kind of swing around probably the pews back there. And we will come, we'll form, and we'll kind of move in a circle like this, and then go back to your seats. And you will pick up a flower. You can pick one up that is lying on the altar. You can pick one up that is in the bouquets, whichever you want. And then you will go back and return to your seat. But remember, don't bring the flower. I couldn't hear him. Do you need to move your chair so people go through there?
People that are having difficulty walking should be able to walk directly back to the seat.
No, we need to make the circle like this so that we don't have congestion. So you'll pick up a flower and then you'll go that way. I think there's room for them to get by beside you.
But if they're having trouble walking, maybe.
I see what you're saying. I understand now. So the suggestion is if you have difficulty walking, either that or you can cut through an empty pew all the way back to your chair. So remember, don't take the flower that you brought, and even if you didn't bring one, don't forget we have more than enough. And remember that in keeping with Dr. Čapek's message of accepting the blessings that have been given to us, not the blessings we want or expect, I urge you not to pick around in the bouquet looking for just the right one. In fact, I challenge you to close your eyes, put your hand out into the bouquet or on the altar, and see which of these leaps into your hand. That's the one that you need. Okay, I will repeat the lyrics to Bring a Flower by Amanda Eudice Kelsler until everyone has a flower and has returned to their seats. You may start. Thank you. Bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all, full of beauty for our senses, round and narrow, large and small. Share your blessings, lean on others, help your neighbor, then receive. Feed the hungry, tend the hurting, we'll be with you when you grieve. As we labor, as we wonder, as we heed the call, bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all.
Do you want me to do the next repetition?
Sure.
Bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all, full of beauty for our senses, round and narrow, large and small. Share your blessings, lean on others, help your neighbor, then receive. Feed the hungry, tend the hurting. We'll be with you when you grieve. As we labor, as we wonder, as we heed the justice call, bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all.
Bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all, full of beauty for our senses, round and narrow, large and small. Share your blessings, lean on others, help your neighbor, then receive. Feed the hungry, tend the hurting. We'll be with you when you grieve. As we labor, as we wonder, as we heed the justice call, bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all.
Bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all, full of beauty for our senses, round and narrow, large and small. Share your blessings, lean on others, help your neighbor, then receive. Feed the hungry, tend the hurting. We'll be with you when you grieve. As we labor, as we wonder, as we heed the justice call, bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all.
Bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all, full of beauty for our senses, round and narrow, large and small. Share your blessings, lean on others, help your neighbor, then receive. Feed the hungry, tend the hurting. We'll be with you when you grieve. As we labor, as we wonder, as we heed the justice call, bring a flower, take a flower. There are flowers here for all. Take yours and I'll take mine. Our responsive reading is by Amy Zucker Morgenstern. I invite you to join us in reading the bold, italicized lines projected on the slide. So,
Shall we just alternate?
yes, I'm blue, you're.
All right.
Each of us is a flower with a delicate beauty uniquely our own. We may be like sunflowers, turning always towards the light.
May our lives bloom like the flowers. We may be like night-blooming ceres, only displaying our fragrant petals when it is dark and we think no one can see. May our lives bloom like the flowers.
We may be hothouse flowers far from our native lands, cautiously tended within a harsh and unfamiliar climate.
May our lives bloom like the flowers. We may be gray-headed like dandelions, eager to launch the new generation with the first strong gust of wind, past our own bright youth, but ready to pass our wisdom on in precious gossamer-carried seeds. May our lives bloom like the flowers.
Some of us sometimes spring up overnight and then fade in the hot glare.
May our lives bloom like the flowers. Some of us, sometimes, are like roses, slowly assembling petal after tightly wrapped petal and revealing our full glory only when everything is in place. May our lives bloom like flowers.
Sometimes we are roadside weeds, loveliness bursting improbably from the dust and debris.
May our lives bloom like the flowers. May we offer our beauty with the simplicity of flowers, expecting no recognition, hoping for nothing, giving out what we are and knowing it is enough. May our lives bloom like the flowers.
Amen. So we're going to pause for just a few seconds of silence and reflection. Thank you. Now don't get too attached to your flower, because in our spiritual work, sacrifices are often required. We will be asked to give what is ours to others. We give it freely with an open heart, and that is part of the flower communion as well. Now you will find someone close to you, and you will give them the flower that you picked from the altar, saying, "Please accept this gift." Go ahead and make your exchanges. Has everyone exchanged their flowers? Is there anybody that didn't have anyone close to them to exchange? Has everybody traded? I think this part is a wonderful example or metaphor about how we should not hold material things so close in our heart that we cannot give it to someone else. And I think that is a big value, a big part of our church. It is when we bring the cans and the boxes of food and the hygiene items to share with the community. It is when we take our own money, our income, however small or meager it may be, and give part of it to this church to sustain it. So I love that part of the ceremony. Although the first time I did it, I didn't want to give that flower away because I chose that flower very specially. So I had a lesson to learn. Our closing hymn is number 8. Mother Spirit, Father Spirit from the gray hymnal, but it also will be projected. And this is one of the very few remaining hymns composed and written by Reverend Norbert Chapek. And it is a wonderful example of openness of our faith as we strive to embrace our lives and find the divine. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you and stand in either body or spirit and join us in singing Mother Spirit, Father Spirit.
Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, where are you? In the sky song, in the forest sounds your cry. What to give you, what to call you, what am I? Many drops are in the ocean, deep and wide. Sunlight bounces off the ripples to the sky. What to give you, what to call you, who am I? I am empty, time flies from me, what is time? Dreams eternal, fears infernal, haunt my heart. What to give you, what to call you, oh my God. Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, take our hearts. Take our breath and let our voices sing our hearts. Take our hands and let us work to shape our hearts.
Of the thousands of writings, sermons, readings, homilies, meditations, and prayers that Reverend Chapek wrote over the decades of his ministry were destroyed in an attempt to kill the power of universal love and commitment. So 2 readings that were part of his flower communion ceremony survived, as I said, and are in our hymnal numbers. Those are numbers 723 and 724. It was for believing in these following values that he was killed by the Nazis. Not only did he refuse to denounce these ideals, he continued sharing them in the concentration camp to prisoners and jailers alike. I urge you to hold them deep in your heart. We need them during this time of division in our nation, in our communities, and sadly, even in our families. So this is the Flower Communion Prayer by Reverend Norbert F. Chapek. In the name of providence, which implants in the seed the future of the flower, and in our hearts, the longing for people to live in harmony. In the name of the highest, in whom we move, and who makes the mother and father and brother and sister, lover and loner what they are. In the name of sages, of great religious leaders, who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of the age of mutual respect. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges us from each other. In this holy resolve, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family. That one Spirit, one, the Spirit of love, unites us and endeavors for a more perfect and more joyous life. Amen. Reverend Norfolk C. Chapek. Namaste, amen, and blessed be.
Blessed be. We thank the worship committee and all attendees for sharing their flowers and their participation this morning, honoring Beltane and Reverend Norbert Chapek's flower communion. Thank you all for joining us in this special UU ceremony. There will be no question and answer after this service today, but you are now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall with your flower in hand and join us for our first Sunday luncheon.
Thank you.